The secret behind the Joker's Dark Knight pencil trick is finally revealed. It's been 10 years since The Dark Knight hit theaters, and even after all this time and an entire MCU's worth of great superhero filmmaking, the second movie in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy still stands as one of the absolute best superhero films of all time. And a decade later, we're still uncovering more details about the film and how it was made. Thanks to the cats over at Vulture, this week we finally found out how the Joker's infamous pencil trick was pulled off. Now, before we break it down, be sure to click on the Nerdist logo in the lower right-hand corner to subscribe so that you can get all of our videos diving deep into everything DC, Marvel, Star Wars, and more. Now, in case it's been a while since you've watched it, the pencil trick happened when the Joker crashes a meeting of Gotham's biggest crime bosses and pitches them a plan to kill Batman. The Joker slams the pointy end of a pencil into the table so that it's standing straight up and tells the group of criminals he's going to make the pencil disappear.
How about a magic trick?
Now, one of the goons is sent over to start some with the Joker and gets his head knocked down into the table, pushing the pencil into his eye and brain and instantly killing him. Now, the pencil trick was pretty shocking, and for years it's had fans wondering how exactly it was done. But this week, Vulture helped solve the mystery by gathering together interviews of crew members sharing how they remember the trick being pulled off. As many of the crew members mentioned, back when they were in the planning phases of the film, they weren't exactly sure how to pull off the stunt. According to visual effects supervisor Nick Davis, I think even Chris Nolan assumed we were going to have to do some CG. It's not particularly difficult to build a CG pencil and track it in and kind of make it disappear out, but we shot it in IMAX, so you see it on a giant, great big canvas. Wherever possible, we tried not to do unnecessary visual effects shots because digitally, you can never really recreate an IMAX image. So if CGI was out, then what were some of the other options? Well, it definitely was not a trick pencil because according to cinematographer Wally Pfister, there was no pencil when his head hit the table, so there is no place it's disappearing into. There was nothing there when his head hits the table. So what happened from there? Well, it seems like the winning shot that made it into the movie was pulled off with some sleight of hand and good camera coordination. In the Vulture article, actor and stunt performer Charles Jarman, the lucky or unlucky guy, depending on how you look at it, who had the pleasure of getting his head smashed into a table multiple times, says, "I remember Christopher Nolan saying to me, 'Look, we're going to do a couple of shots where you need to be able to take that pencil away.' We did a couple of half-speed rehearsals just to get the hand action of my right hand sweeping across, taking the pencil as my body was going down, and my head striking the blank surface. It was a little hairy because the pencil's stuck in the table. If, for some reason, I didn't get my hand in time, we wouldn't be having this conversation." Now, if you watch that scene very closely, at the top of the shot, the camera is on the pencil sticking up out of the table. As his hand enters the frame, the camera tilts up to Heath Ledger and Jarman's faces. This moment right here is the perfect time for Jarman to grab that pencil out of the desk and hold it out of frame with his right hand. Then the camera tilts back down to the table as Ledger slams Jarman's head into the table. According to the Vulture article, Charles Jarman did a whopping 22 takes of this stunt, 3 of which knocked him out. This guy is either a consummate professional or a glutton for punishment. I think maybe both, or as Jarman explains himself, you think less of yourself and more about the shot. You suck it up and you go again. The room is full of all of your idols. You don't want to mess things up. There are a lot of people relying on it. If I do it properly, if I do it right, then the shot can move on. The director's happy. You want people to be happy with what you've done, your performance, so you focus on that. Well, he's definitely a team player, that's for sure. And he also admits that he would do things differently now. If I had a similar job like that come up again, I would be looking at more breakaways or doing it in such a way that you could avoid the impact and concussion. There are certain ways of cheating the shot so that it can look just as violent and just as dramatic. Now, we wouldn't want to see an actor or stunt person get hurt from doing a stunt like this again, but we gotta give Charles Jarman major props for being willing to go to those lengths to help make one of the greatest moments in one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. If you want to learn even more, you should head on over to Vulture and check out the rest of the article. But what do you folks think? Is The Dark Knight still one of the best superhero movies ever, or is it the best superhero movie ever? Did you think the shot was CGI, and is Heath Ledger still your favorite Joker? Let's discuss. Thanks for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to know whenever we drop a video or go live with the show, like Bizarre States, where Andrew Bowser and I dive into the wide world of weird news and creepy stories. You can watch us live on Nerdist YouTube, Geek and Sundry's Twitch, and Alpha at 4 p.m. Pacific every week, or listen to the podcast version for free wherever you get your podcasts.